Hello Art 12, welcome to your craftsmanship and pattern demonstration. So I'm going to go over various things. You do have questions in Google Doc 5 to answer. The first thing is that you can decide to outline or trace your images, but not the positive space. So notice how my hand is still left with just pencil. And I used a ruler for these lines because they were straight. I used a ruler for the side of these because it was straight. And then after that, I just tried to have a very clean line. So what you want to avoid is putting paper on top of your final draft and using Sharpie because it will bleed through. So I'm going to move that off to the side. I have a scratch piece of paper. You have 4 of them in your paper set, just like the regular copy paper. So we want like a clean line with Sharpie. What we want to try to avoid is a line like this, because that is bad craftsmanship. And just move your paper so that it's easy for you to follow any pencil lines that might be on there so you can see where you're going. So that's number 1, avoid sketchy lines. Number 2 is effort and time. So this is not a race, it's a marathon. And so you're going to kind of take your time and make sure you're creating quality patterns. The last thing is that you can draw the basic shapes or structure of the pattern with pencil. So notice on this one, this is going to be my leaves to represent like all the nature activities that I'm missing out on, mostly during quarantine, which is my theme. Mostly because I do those with a lot of friends. So I drew the basic structure. Then I would go back and cleanly outline with my Sharpie. And then I'm going to go back in and put in my few details. And I feel like my little details, I don't have to draw with pencil. I can just freehand with Sharpie. Okay, so I would trace all those out. Okay, so for one of the patterns off of my practice, which is this one, I'm going to do the movie theater one, except I'm going to do it right here, going behind a little bit, and I want to make it slightly smaller. So I'm going to draw the lines that the little images sit on. So I have like little light guidelines there. So that's what I'm putting down first with pencil. So I divided this side. I'm using just the ruler and pencil very lightly to give myself guidelines to line up my varied pattern. So that's the other part that you need to remember. You need to have varied pattern, which is similar imagery, and you need to also have consistent pattern where it's the same thing again and again. So I would say this spiral one right here is almost a consistent pattern or regular. This one is for sure. And then I'm going to add some different varied ones with the leaves, and the one I'm adding right now with the movie theater stuff is definitely varied. Okay, so lightly in pencil, I'm dividing my space, and then I'm not going to sit and draw all the little details that I have on my practice. Number 1, I've already practiced it. Number 2, you don't have time to draw everything in pencil first. So you just want to draw the basics of what you need and do the rest in Sharpie. So I'm going to move my paper so it's a little bit easier for me to look at. Sorry, it's a little bit upside down for you. Looking at my practice, and all I did was look up movie theater patterns on Google or movie theater symbols, and I combined a bunch together. So I have like the projector, and then I have the little clip thing where it's like take 1, take 2. So I'm just doing the basics, and then I have like little tickets that's going to go right up to the outline of my thumb there. So I'm not going to sit and draw everything. I just want the basic detail. Then I would go back, and I'm not going to trace this line. If you wanted to trace the actual structure, you could. I'm going to focus more on adding additional details with the Sharpie. So I'm going to add the lines that I didn't draw with pencil because I only need the basic structure. And then I would continue on. So I have another piece of it coming out over here, and I would draw the basic structure. So what I would do is I would draw all of the structures first and then go back and outline it. So this is supposed to be like a ticket. I'm just gonna leave it like that because I can add the rest with Sharpie. We have like the arrow one. So then I would do all of my structures, then come back with Sharpie and add in my details. And if you mess up, it's okay. You're just gonna make it look like you meant to do that or add something next to it because part of art is messing up and making it look like you meant to do that. In the end, so when I'm totally done with that whole entire pattern, I'm gonna go back with my big pink eraser and I'm going to erase out my pencil. So I don't see the guidelines. It just looks like I'm an amazing artist and I can line all my stuff up, but I really had all those guidelines lining everything up how they needed to go. So that is your craftsmanship demonstration. So we want clean outlines, not sketchy lines. Take your time. Effort counts. You can really tell who rushes and who actually takes the time to make it look nice and neat, which is craftsmanship. And if you need to, like here or here, you can draw the structure first. Or you guys saw that demonstration where I drew the grid first and then everything else was added with Sharpie. Okay, make sure you have good craftsmanship. It is part of your grade. Have fun.